Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call a meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just make a note that Councilman Brungard is absent. Old business approval of minutes, the regular meeting minutes of February 17, 2022, and the special meeting minutes of February 24, 22 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 17, 2022, and the special meeting minutes of February 24, 2022 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka?
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? No takers. Presentations, new business. Item number 2 is ordinance number 1080. Amend Chapter 15, Article 3, Section 306 of the Code of the City of Lansing, Kansas. After discussing at this January work session, several changes were made to the city code in reference to the recreational vehicles. One notable change is the increase in weight restriction. This is viewable on the license plate instead of going by the gross vehicle weight rating generally located on the interior of the vehicle. Staff believes this will be easier to enforce. I need a motion to approve ordinance number 1080.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
Yes.
Dan?
We have a wide variety of residents in our town, anywhere from 27 acres to a third of an acre. And I assume that this ordinance would apply to all of them. So when we're looking at 14 foot, I went around my neighborhood, not a single one of our driveways would accommodate anything 14 foot from the curb. Is that our intent? Is that we not have anybody on the driveways?
Matt, did you want to?
So in general, the curb, from the curb to the right-of-way line is roughly 14 to 15 feet. That's why we came up with, that's where we came up with that number at, is that these things should be stored on private property and not on the right-of-way, not in the public area of the street. If your driveway is 50 feet long, for instance, which I know there's some subdivisions that aren't that long, you would still have room that you could store something in there, but of course you're not going to be able to store a 40-foot, fifth wheel in there.
On our cul-de-sacs, mine is 26 feet
From the curb?
total. From my garage door to the curb is 26 feet. I barely have enough room for 2 cars, and I can't do it without blocking the sidewalk. And
I know the majority of subdivisions you can't park 2 cars without blocking the sidewalk.
Yeah,
For sure.
I understand, but the ordinance says 14 foot, and
Right.
you can't block sidewalks,
Right.
which would eliminate anything in any of our areas where I live that I've canvassed. And I think that might be a problem. There's no accommodations for unloading and loading. It's just addressing parking.
So the unloading and loading, there is an accommodation for that. If they park on the street, they're allowed for 3 days to park on the street. So that's the intent behind that, was to allow them time to load and unload, to get ready and such.
And again, I live at the top of the cul-de-sac on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
If I park in front of my house, I'm blocking the driveways to my left and right, and I got a fire hydrant in the middle of my yard. I can't park on the street unless I go down the hill. I just think that we need to take time to make sure that the ordinance does what we intended to do. I understand the safety. I understand we don't need to block our neighbors, and we need to be courteous and respectful. But I don't think that we need to rush into this and make 75% of our homeowners not be able to park in their driveway.
So they're still allowed to park in their driveway as long as it's from the very curb to the vehicle there's 14 foot,
Correct.
right? And you're saying in some areas, there's no 14 foot.
There's not 14 foot left after you deduct 14 foot.
Yeah.
So my 5x8 trailer might fit, utility trailer, but nothing else would.
Anybody else want to comment?
The other,
I guess if there's concerns like that, we should have brought that up during the work session, because we had a work session on this, didn't we?
Yep.
Why wasn't it brought up then, I guess, is my question.
the other
We
thing
can-
I would.
I was just
sorry.
gonna say, we can double check on all of this stuff too, if that's the direction of the council, and I don't know if I hate over committeeing things to death, but I don't know if we want to have a committee, and Mr. Clemens, if you want to be on a committee with me and Matt, and if anybody else wants to do it, and we can maybe hammer out numbers that work better, or, because I understand the thought process of not having unintended consequences, I understand
I just
that.
want to do it right.
Yeah.
And I will be on the committee. I have no problem with that. I just want to do it right for our citizens.
Well,
The other thing I would point out is that there's, I believe Merriam and Shawnee both had 14-foot rules on their books too.
Yeah,
So
and
it wasn't, I mean, it was other cities that we looked at too that have that rule.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And I know you didn't come with these numbers just out of the air. I understand
yeah.
that.
Sure.
I was just going to reiterate that I think most of the stuff that we got,
Yeah.
I mean, coming from the work session, we had gotten data from 7, 8, 9, 10 different cities, and I think most of everything that we got came from other cities. But I think staff is open to whatever you guys want to do. If you guys want us to double check on some things to make sure there's no unintended consequences, we can. Or if you guys are comfortable with it, you know,
So, I mean, I understand Dan's point. My concern is the sidewalk.
And there was already codes in place
I
that you
know,
can't
but
block the
it
sidewalk.
happens all the time.
Sure,
And then people get mad when you walk across their yard because their car's blocking the sidewalk.
sure.
So, I can withdraw my motion if that's what we want to do, or if we want to vote. It's up to the.
who's the second?
I seconded
So I was going to say, so I think.
it. I gotta withdraw my second first.
It's up to the council. If you want to withdraw your motion in the second and then table it for future discussion, that's fine. If not, we can do the vote. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I think we're looking for something that's gonna fit 100% of the time, and that's not gonna happen either.
Correct.
So, I mean.
You're not gonna make everybody happy.
No, I understand that, but I just want to make sure that it's something that is defensible.
I don't.
who made the motion?
I didn't know what the average driveway length was, so.
It varies
And
so
if we do
much.
have a large community of Lansing with very short driveways, then,
That's true.
okay.
It
You got
varies
also
quite a
got
bit by
lot of-
subdivision.
A lot of them parking on too close to the corners, so where does that fit into any of that too, where they're too close to the stop signs and?
That's more of a.
Right away.
That's a.
The other thing I would point out is that most of our residential districts have a 30-foot building setback. So your particular case, there had to have been some sort of variance done or something in order for the home to be that close. The idea there, of course, is 30 feet setback plus your right-of-way distance, which is 15 or so. So in essence, you'd have 30 feet for them to park whatever they wanted to park, according to what our code, what our zoning shows now.
Yeah, our phase was done, it started in 95, so it may have been
It
different.
may have been different then, sure,
But we still have 200 houses in our phases that,
sure.
the only ones that have long ones are the ones that are on DeSoto. The 6 houses on DeSoto Road have long roads. The other 182, not so much.
Sure. You could also, just throwing an idea out there, you could also amend, I think you could approve it and amend that distance down from 14 to 10 or 14 to whatever number you wanted to use. And if you did that, we would just update the ordinance and then go forward with filing it. So that's another option.
I probably wasn't here when that was discussed but was there a reason why that was the whole situation was brought up? Did we have somebody that was
Yeah.
upset with?
We have quite a few RVs throughout the entire city that
It was
are
just
right on the
because of the
curb
number of
line.
RVs, or was
No,
it-
it's complaints
It's complaint
that the
driven.
RVs are sticking across the driveways. People have to walk around them, go into the street. Kids have to walk around them, go into the street. So it's a safety hazard as well as an issue.
Bass boats used to be the big problem years ago. We used to have that. That was a big topic down here. When they parked their boats when they come home from fishing, they'd stick it over the sidewalk. I just wondered if it was brought back up again. Is that the reason? Then it went from bass boats, then it went to people driving their commercial vehicles that they work out of, their plumbing vans and stuff that was sticking over. I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't here. Was there some complaints? Is that why we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and
complaint driven.
remind me, didn't we add the solid surface parking too? Were you allowed to park in the grass before?
We made it more clear.
Right.
There was a requirement before that it had to be on impervious surface, but it wasn't very clear, and it was always a point of contention whenever we would talk to somebody, because everybody's, of course, got their viewpoint. So we made it more clear by making it very explicit in there that it has to be on an impervious surface.
I'm sure a lot of people don't want your neighbor parking on the grass, their RV or boat or anything.
Probably not.
Matt, could you carve out a exemption for cul-de-sacs perhaps? Because aren't most cul-de-sacs don't have sidewalks around them?
But if I may, the only problem with that's where the complaints came in, was on the cul-de-sacs, and they were sticking out, blocking neighbors' drives.
Some of them did. The thing I worry about when you start carving it out based on that is you're not treating everybody the
Yeah,
same.
it's not a universal.
I think that's what you're doing when
ordinance.
you go from the 14 to the 10, because someone with a 30-foot RV is going to say, we allow a 10-foot RV to park on their driveway. So I think you should stick with what we've got, because you're not discriminating. You're going with what you've seen in the past, and you're going with right away.
And we're also going with what other cities have already adopted, yeah. But again, it's
But
up to
whatever
the
you guys
board, to
want
the
to do,
council.
I'll withdraw my second if you want to table it, but whatever.
I mean, I'm just want to say, I have no problem working on the committee. If you want us to look at it and do it. that'd
Yeah, I
be
mean,
fine with me.
it's up to council if you,
Withdraw my second.
okay.
I withdraw my motion and move that we table it for further discussion.
Second.
I have a motion to table ordinance 1080. Call the roll.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Seneca?
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Okay, motion to table passed. Number 3 is structural removal cost share request, 400 East Eisenhower Road. The structural removal policy allows reimbursement for half of the demolition cost up to $4,000. A low bid on this request came in at $20,000, making the city's portion $10,000, which exceeds our current policy. Staff believes there would be a positive impact on this park in removing these 10 structures. I need a motion to approve the removal cost of up to $10,000 to remove 10 mobile homes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
When you're talking about moving, I understand that, and that a lot of them need to be moved. What are you guys going to do about the ones that's got all the junk stacked around them? And is all that stuff going to go? I mean, you're not going to have the cars on jack stands like that you got.
If you would, before you talk, come up to the microphone so they can.
Yeah, and you have to identify yourself and just give us your address.
Yeah, my name's Brady Hanna. This is Jeff Bohr. We're both owners of Parkwood Court and Parkwood North Mobile Home Parks.
Okay.
Address 90 Royal Drive, Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
Yes, to answer your question, that is a big part of our efforts is cleaning up all the abandoned cars. Because walking through I counted 6 the other day.
I know
just walking through there.
You're doing such a fine job on everything, and then right now I drove through it today. You see all the first 4 or 5 trailers going into each park.
Mm-hmm.
Look like a salvage yard. I mean,
Yep.
all that's got to go.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they own the trailers, do they have to move the trailers? Or that?
So if they own the trailers, then we force them to clean it up. We're scheduling a cleanup day right as soon as the weather warms up a little bit, where we're bringing in 2 40-yard dumpsters, encouraging everyone to clean up their yard. Our staff's coming to clean up with them, and we're going to set a date after that if they don't clean up their yards by that date, then we're doing it for them and we charge them, because it's just a big part of cleaning up the area.
That was questions asked by some people. Are they're going out of the way, so really making it look nice, and then you still got these ones that's got stuff stacked
Yep.
in the yard. Look like they're tearing wash machines.
It's
apart.
been neglected for years,
Yeah.
and we're excited to go in and turn the park around. That's something we're excited at. If any of you have driven through Parkwood Court by the Ball Diamond right there, we bought it a year ago, and we've brought in, renovated 30 plus trailers, sold them off to families that are living there, cleaned it up. There was tires, there was all sorts of stuff when we bought it, and that's been cleaned up as well. So we're excited to get Parkwood North cleaned up as well.
Is that your first one, the one in North Kansas City?
First one in Lansing.
We have 9 parks that we
9
have.
total. Yeah.
You guys aren't renovating the one in Martin Springs right now, are you?
No.
No.
I noticed they're working on that one, making it look really nice.
Yeah, we've got a tree company coming in to fix all the tree issues. Eventually, we'll fix the roads once we move the homes in. But our plan is we don't rent, we just sell.
It
They've got
used
to have a down payment.
It used to be. I've lived there all my life, and it was one beautiful park at one time. I mean, flowers. I mean, had an older clientele lived there. Not nothing against there now.
Sure.
There was, but I mean, it was really fixed up. They had gardens and different things. So.
And what we try to do is instill pride of ownership with the people that are there, give them a chance to clean it up themselves. If they don't, we'll go in and show them that we're cleaning the park up. They've got a chance to do it, and if they don't, we'll do it for them.
Are all the houses? Am I understanding right from your deal? All the houses are coming down. All the wood structures.
Everything around
Yes.
the homes that we're
Yeah.
demoing.
Homes,
yes. It will be.
decks, all of that.
It will be a completely clean lot. Trees will be cleaned up. So
The
we can move
original,
another home in.
original house is going to go to.
The house right now is not.
It's being fixed up.
We're going to renovate that as well, fix the roof, and that'll be.
Take off the front enclosed porch that's funky. It'll be nice. It's just
We have one of our rehab guys now that's actually renting it, and he's going to fix it for us while he's there.
Good luck. Good luck.
It's
Yeah.
one of the oldest structures or oldest running businesses in Lansing.
Yeah.
Is the safe still being used as a closet?
It is.
It is.
Yep, it is.
When it used to be a coal mine, the coal mine safe is in the house we're talking about. And when Mrs. Black got it from her husband, she took the door off and used the safe as a closet.
Yeah. So it's still a closet.
So,
Okay.
if you're done.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have a question. I've got a couple of comments, and the first one is thank you.
Thank you guys.
Sincerely.
You bet.
I drove through there yesterday. I ignored the don't trespassing sign. There's a story behind that sign, and I'm the reason that sign's there. So, you certainly have taken on quite a task, a chore. And so Dave and I, that's in our ward. And so I sincerely thank you guys for taking this on and making an effort to clean it up.
Absolutely.
The demand for affordable housing here in Lansing is crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, Parkwood Court, our homes sell before we show them.
Yeah.
We have people lined up. We've got 6 now that are listed that they'll be sold in a week or two. That park will be full quickly. And we plan the same thing at Parkwood North. It's just going to take some time to get the homes out that need to come out, get things cleaned up, but make it appealing for people that want to live there.
This isn't something that's just going to snap overnight. I get that.
Yeah.
And the only other comment that I would make on that whole situation would be that I would look forward to and hope that the relationship between the city and the owners is a whole lot better than it used to be.
Yeah,
That's our
absolutely.
intent. That's our intent.
So,
Been a joy working with Matt.
yeah.
Him and his team.
Well, you didn't have to say that in public.
Look at his head get big.
But anyway, good luck.
Yeah.
And Dave lives there. I drive by it all the time. So it wasn't until I actually drove in, and so I went down to the one south first, and just immediately upon driving in, it's like, wow, this is great.
Well, thank
and
you.
we drove the other one this afternoon, and so good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of neighbors that are very happy that it's happening, that what is going on, and you'd be surprised how that puts an initiative in the neighbors
It's true.
to do some renovation to their homes, not necessarily out of the trailer park, but just houses and stuff that need to be, around the neighborhood. There's a considerable difference of people getting a little bit more ambitious to clean up.
That's great.
That's great.
Contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in a year, it'll
Scaring
be
them
full.
before they run out the door.
No.
Yeah.
Well, this is what they do. I mean, they know what they got themselves into.
Anybody else?
So anyhow, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Question, I got one more question.
I asked. Anybody else? Don, please.
The $10,000 cost is coming out of the city pocket. You say it exceeds our current policy. By how much?
So our current policy allows for 50% reimbursement up to $4,000.
Right.
But that's also structured in mind, when that policy was written, we were thinking about single-family homes.
Right.
That type of stuff, not a trailer park,
I understand.
situation like this. We've actually had some internal discussions about amending that policy and adding $1,000 per trailer in there,
Trailer park?
so that for mobile home type parks like this, it's already actually in the policy as something that we would do.
We did that for the duplexes. Wasn't that when we started gonna add that on for the duplexes at that time too?
So-
Single family, and I think maybe we did do
Right.
a duplex or two, yeah.
I mean, we could do them individually and do the cost that
Yeah, I
way
mean, you
too,
could-
but I mean, it's,
It seemed like a lot of excess administrative work
right.
to do, each, to do
No,
10
I
requests
understand that.
instead
I
of
was
one.
Just
And
curious how
yeah.
it's working. It just says your policy. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anyone else? All right, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Absolutely.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Motion passed. Thanks, Matt. Item number 4 is the library board appointment. Position came open due to the resignation of a board member, and the position was advertised. The library board met on February 22nd and voted unanimously to recommend Timothy Moran. I'm sorry, Tim. I need a motion to appoint Timothy Moran to the Lansing Community Library Board to fill an expired term ending April 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Besides, thank you very much, Tim. Call the roll.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle?
Huh.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Motion passed. Reports, city attorney.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Tim?
I know you guys are getting a lot of questions from residents about fiber internet and everything like that. I know you guys are excited, our citizens are excited. We'll have a representative from RG Fiber at the next meeting to talk to you guys, to brief you all on where they're at, what their timeline is, and things like that. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys and helpful to our citizens as well. Secondly, you guys might have noticed Tish Sims, our new city clerk, is with us tonight. I am just so thrilled that someone with her qualifications is joining our team. She spent 10 years as an assistant city clerk, 4 years as a city clerk. She's active in CCM FOA. She's on leadership committees on that organization, and she was just certified as a certified municipal clerk, I believe. So I'm just thrilled that she's joining our team, and just want to welcome her here tonight. That's all I have.
Welcome, Tish. Department heads, anybody? Steve, you got anything? Oh, okay. Council members. Dan, you get to
Well-
start off.
I want to thank you and welcome to the team.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Moran, for taking the post. Thank you very much. That's all.
Okay, thanks. Don?
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Okay. Dave?
Mr. Moran, welcome aboard on the new city clerk. Good luck. Watch Tim. He's an alligator boy. Whew. That's all I got.
Okay, Dave. Gene?
Yeah, Tim, thanks. Tish, hope you made the right move. No, I'm sure you did. Glad you're here. Ukraine. If you didn't get woke up last night by air sirens and bombing your neighborhood, you're one step ahead. I certainly wish there was more that I could do. Donate money to causes, and if you do that, just be sure it's somebody legitimate be sure your money's gonna go where it's intended to go. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Gene. Marcus?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tish. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to it. And thanks for the young fellas here that came here tonight to talk about cleaning up that ward, that area, and that park. That's pretty cool. I appreciate that. And Gene was spot on. Our relationship with these young entrepreneurs coming into Lansing means a lot to us.
Sure.
The relationship. So that's pretty good. That's all I've got tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Jesse?
Ditto what everybody said. Tim, thank you for your willingness to serve. Tish, welcome to the team. I'm sure you'll do well. You got big shoes to fill. I'm sure you'll do a great job with it, though. So, I echo what Gene said about Ukraine and the things they're going through. We take advantage of the things that we do in this country freely. Just little things like going to church, driving to church, going to the car wash, stupid little things like that. And these people are fleeing a country because they're worried for their lives. It's a very sad world we're in right now. And I'm very disappointed in our government for not backing them up more and standing up to Russia and wanting their oil, gas, whatever they're backing down for. It's a disgrace. We need to stand up and help those people. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thanks, Jesse. Greg?
Again, Tim, thank you. We can't run this city with everything that we do without volunteers like you, and we do truly appreciate it. And I know Terry appreciates it too. Tish, welcome. That's all I'm going to say on that. And I was talking with a couple of residents yesterday, and Tim, Mike's not here, but they both went on and on and on and on and on about how great the crew has done with the snow removal. And so I just thought I'd pass that along. And on this day in 1931, the United States adopted the Star-Spangled Banner as its national anthem. And with that, Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
You
I have
were in
a-
a group at something, weren't you?
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call the roll.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes?
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Trinkle?
Yeah.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey? Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Tish, don't be surprised if somebody says no one time. Okay.
I'm good with that.
Especially Dave.
We are adjourned.